game last night, Tony. Can you believe the Chicago Cubs finally pulled it out?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. They what? It was 4-1 Nats when I fell asleep.
You know how I know exactly when you went to sleep?
How? I stopped
and
texting
not being
you
in your house? Because the text chain stopped.
Yeah.
Your wild texting just abruptly stopped. I texted you one more time, no response.
I got through the fifth.
You got through Scherzer.
And I was very depressed.
Figured you were boycotting me at that point.
Very depressed. Well, I was definitely boycotting you because I thought we were going to lose and you were going to win, which is, as it turns out, what happened. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Nats go down, the Yankees and the Astros start up, and Carson Wentz flies high. But we begin today with what our colleague Tim Kirkchin called, and I quote, the best and stupidest game I have ever seen in my life,
Amen
unquote.
to that.
Game 5, Nats and Cubs. The Cubs won 9-8. Both teams stranded 100 runners. Both teams made 1,000 mistakes. Both managers can be second-guessed a million times. A chronology like that game is too long to go into here. Wilbon, are you okay that the game may have been decided on a review call of a pickoff and a non-call on a pass ball?
First, before we get into that, I want you to acknowledge that I am not gloating today. I'm taking the high road.
You're not flying
the W off the Statue of Liberty. I'm not wearing a Cub cap because I'm not even sure we deserve to win the game.
Right.
And this will speak to that. Look, when it's my team, I'm thrilled. And, yes, I can justify the game ending like that because it's replay for a reason. And another call, which you didn't mention, is a slide into second base. The neighborhood rule is different now. You're not supposed to be able to take out a guy.
If I mentioned all the calls, we'd never get to the body of the show.
So what I'm saying is I love the way it ended, but philosophically, no, Tony. But you can't go back on replay. If they can see it at home, then you have to use it. You're not going back.
You cannot argue for replays on home runs and argue against replays on plays like this. Right. Though, if I wanted to be a conspiracist, I would tell you that all the calls are decided in New York, where somebody says, the Cubs are a bigger draw for the next series
DC's
than
bigger.
the Nats or something.
It's along I-95. You neighbors, you people.
No. Cubs are a much bigger draw. Look, this is a complete outlier game. Something happened in the fifth when Max Scherzer came in, and we can argue whether or not you want to put your best starting pitcher in the fifth inning. It's not something I want to do. In the whole history of baseball, there are 4 different things that happened in the top of the fifth that had never in combination ever happened before. It was just a very, very weird game that both teams could have won. Both teams attempted to lose. I don't know what to say about the game. So many people on the Nats failed. They just failed.
Tony, there was a lot of failure and there was a lot of success. And I will say this to you. When Bryce Harper comes up 2 times in that game, once, I think with the bases loaded, he gets a sac fly, but I think the ball's going out. Everybody thinks the ball's going out.
Yes,
and when he comes up, last hitter, it's down to Bryce Harper, and you think this is the MVP once removed.
That's right.
He's out there playing against his boyhood friend at third base, Chris Bryant.
All of that is
He's
true.
going to hit it out, and this game's going to go 15 innings.
Tell you something.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
There are a lot of people I could point to and say that they did not have a good game. But if I had to review not just the game but the entire series, I would tell you this. That the central point for the Nats was that Bryce Harper is not 100% healthy. He came back with 1 week to go.
Right.
He did not have enough at-bats to get ready for a playoff series. And other than the home run in Game 3, there was not much there. I mean, if Bryce Harper is healthy like he was in May and June, I think it's different.
I don't know that he hits that curveball even in May or June or 2 years ago in May and June when he was the MVP. Not that one. But that was... You shouldn't have gone to sleep. I should have come by your house and thrown eggs against your window and awakened you.
I wouldn't have heard you. It was Game 2 where he hit the home run, and then Zimmerman followed with a home run. Yeah.
While the Cubs figure out what to do about the Dodgers, the Nationals have to figure out what to do, period. Dusty Baker's 10th consecutive loss in just this situation, Max Scherzer's 7th straight, and the franchise's 3rd Game 5 loss at home in 5 years sends everybody associated with this in the frantic search for a fix. Tony, you've got one hell of a roster that doesn't seem to need any real changes. So beyond not advancing again, what will this loss mean for the Nationals?
I'll make one correction. It's not just the 3rd loss in 5 years at home. It's the 4th loss in 6 years, not all at home.
Right.
Never getting to the second round.
Yeah.
Never getting to the second round. Is this a choke? The Washington Capitals choke. I don't know that this is a choke, but it's a very, very good roster. Do I think there'll be changes? Jason Worth, who I lost the ball in the Milky Way.
But he won't be. He's a free agent. He's done.
Gone.
Been here 7 years, right?
I think Dusty Baker will probably be gone. I think that they can use this game as cover because he's 0-10 in clinching games. But the top of their rotation, particularly with Scherzer and Strasburg, is terrific.
Great.
Gio Gonzalez was terrible last night. Those
Didn't
things
he go
happen.
like 14 and 5
They
this year? What are you talking about?
their relievers are locked up. They have Harper one more year, Murphy one more year. They've got Turner. They've got Rendon. They've got Adam Eaton coming back.
Yeah.
They've got Michael A. Taylor. They're a very good squad
That's
that
good,
can't get over the
because you want to
hump.
get it in next year before Harper goes to Chicago.
That's right,
But
or New York.
I should whisper that.
Or New York.
No, I didn't say or.
I know, I did.
Your lineup is a beast. When you get Adam
Where
Eaton
was it the
back,
first
wait a
four
minute,
games?
Wait a minute. There was good pitching on the other side.
Okay.
Eaton, Trey Turner, Harper, Zimmerman, Murphy, Rendon, Michael A. Taylor, and I guess Wieters is a club has his own option.
Has his
player
own
option.
option.
Okay, Tony. That's a
Did you
great
like
lineup.
his throw into right field?
Okay,
Did
Tony,
you like that?
No one's perfect. You mentioned the Cleveland Indians are out.
Right.
All right, so let's not get crazy.
Okay.
That is a great lineup.
It is.
You know who I felt for last night, and when I was convinced the Cubs were going to lose because the game was so bizarre, I was like, you know what? I'll be all in from the rest of the playoffs for Dusty Baker. I don't want to see Dusty Baker, who has been a great baseball man for his
Regular
entire
season.
lifetime.
Oh, you're 100% right.
And as a player, and last night, what else could he have done?
I don't know.
Not go to Scherzer, which you wanted. You were happy when Scherzer came in.
I wanted
Dusty,
Scherzer to close. I thought he was going to close. He could have gone to Roark. He could have used Howie Kendrick more in the series because Howie Kendrick had
How
been
about
very good.
Doolittle for another inning? But these are all ifs.
Here's what I think.
These are all pure second guesses.
I don't think anybody is demanding that anything
Well, they
terrible
shouldn't.
happen.
Okay.
I think it is
will
likely
happen.
that will happen, but I hope it does not happen.
Okay.
It was a team failure yesterday by the Nats. They all failed. They all failed. They had the chance to win it a million times. All right. Well, about enough about the Nats. Now we come to your team, the Cubs. They get the Dodgers beginning tomorrow. Hello, Clayton Kershaw on 7 days rest. Your Cubs did not hit much against the Nats. They did not field much against the Nats. I'll spare you any mention of your horrific bullpen. Do you give the Cubs a big chance, a little chance, or no chance at all against the Dodgers?
A big chance.
Big chance?
Yeah. Because what they showed last night was that they have a determination that is second to nobody, and not the Dodgers, who haven't won now in a lot longer than the Cubs. Cubs have won last year. The Dodgers not in 30. So
The Cubs have won twice in 108 years.
Here's the deal.
Good.
We beat Clayton Kershaw's butt last year,
Right.
which you like to not mention, as if last year didn't happen. Took Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers, the same
That's right.
Dodgers team, took them out. Okay?
Well, they got you
took him
Darvish
out.
now. They got Darvish now.
Fine, you Darvish. I'm not going to make him Whitey Ford
No,
just
he's pretty
yet.
good.
He's good.
He's good.
Now, the problem is, the thing that gives me pause, of course, you referred to it, is my bullpen.
Yeah.
The Cubs bullpen, it's hard to imagine a worse bullpen, a less dependable bullpen. Wade Davis, you send him out there and say, get seven outs. He hasn't gotten more than 3 all season, but he did it.
Not only that,
There's a clutchness.
you tell everybody else in the bullpen, take a
break.
nap. Don't
It
warm
looked
up.
like the bullpen members had
Go
been
home.
kidnapped.
Go home.
They weren't even there.
Go to the bowling alley. Get out of here.
I'm giving him a big chance because you know
Yeah.
what? And Joe Madden mentioned this last night. He's enthusiastic about everybody buying into what he's selling, and they are in it together. What do you think?
I'm
What kind of chance?
I'm going to mention something personal here.
Okay.
Because I now miss out on a dinner because I was going to go out with Charlie Steiner when the Dodgers came here and Charlie's broadcasting on Monday night. We were going to dinner with Chuck Todd and Meet the Press and Wolf Blitzer.
You can
CNN.
join us.
You know what I
at
can do?
Chicago
I
Cut.
can get on a bus 5 minutes from here and go to Chicago. I'll tell you what I like a lot about the Cubs. I like Rizzo a lot. I like Contreras a lot. I like when Joe Madden decisively goes out and says to a reliever, get
Give
out
me
of here.
7?
Give me the ball.
Well,
No.
that's his
Before
guy.
that,
You
get
shouldn't
out.
have put him in there
Every
anyway.
once in a while he brings in the wrong guy, but he's decisive about that. But I do like the Dodgers in this one, and I would have liked the Dodgers
And they
against
should be
the Nats.
heavily favored.
I would have
the
liked
Dodgers
the
are
against
and
the Nats.
should be heavily favored. You
just
ask me
dropped my
if I give them a
glasses.
chance. You don't want to come to
I need
Chicago
a
Cut with us?
stagehand. I dropped my
You don't want
glasses.
to do that?
I'm wired.
Huh?
No.
I can
eat
get you into some
outside.
restaurants.
I hate when you eat outside. Bus fumes. I hate that.
We're not New York.
I know.
The ALCS begins tonight. Game 1, Yankees versus the Astros in Houston. The Stros won the season series 5-2, Tony. But the run differential is basically even. Dallas Keuchel has been really successful against the Yanks, and Masahiro Tanaka has been beat down by the Astros to the tune of a 10-plus ERA. Tony, just transfer your allegiances and all that emotion back to your hometown and tell me what the Yanks are going to do down in Houston.
I think they're going to lose down in Houston. You mentioned the 5-2 record, which I think is significant. I think the top of their rotation with Keuchel and Verlander is
It's impressive. It's
is
formidable.
much better.
It's formidable.
I think the Yankees bullpen is better. I think with Robertson and Chapman it's better, but I don't know that they're going to have games to save necessarily. I mean, I think Houston is a really good team. And I think the Yankees have overachieved a little bit. They're young, and I think they've overachieved a little bit.
I have this romantic notion of going back to 1935 and getting Cubs-Yankees, Wrigley Field and Yankees.
1935, I was in high school, and I didn't know you were alive.
Yeah. In an old school pinstripe World Series. That's what I'm rooting for. But to get that, Tony, and I have a hard time seeing it because of the rotation at the top you mentioned.
Yeah.
A longer series. Now we're going best of 7. And the other thing is, it seems to be a second wall that Aaron Judge has run into.
I have the greatest.
I mean, he and my man Chris Bryant, they're having problems now with connecting with any pitch that comes near the plate.
This is the greatest Aaron Judge statistic in the history of the world. In 20 at-bats against the Indians, he struck out 16 times. In the 1995 regular season, with 577 trips to the plate, Tony Gwynn struck out 15 times.
Yeah.
So Aaron Judge has obliterated the strikeout.
Can he recover again like he did late in the season in September?
But
they need him.
Here's what gives me pause. I think the Yankees' division is significantly better than the Astros division, so maybe the gap between 101 wins and 91 isn't as significant as I think. I don't know. Let's switch to football. The Philadelphia Eagles went to Carolina last night, and they won 28-23, and this makes the Eagles 5-1. Carolina was 4-1 going into that game, so this is not like beating the pathetic Giants and the awful Chargers, which the Eagles already did. Wilbon, did this win convince you that Philly is legit?
Yeah, for now. And legit, I'm not going to go as far as I've seen is it a Chiron? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
It has stupid stuff like Eagles, Super Bowl favorites.
Right.
I see that stuff, and I just want to smack somebody.
That may be in the FPI, but it's not on this show.
No, it's not on this show. And so they look really good right now.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz particularly looks really good, particularly on third down.
Yeah.
I like some of the stuff he does. I had one eye on a smaller TV in my house. Did you watch any of that game?
None. Absolutely none.
None.
No.
Well, you got to get a man cave. You got to have more than one TV.
I have 2 eyes and 1 TV.
You got 11 houses and 1 TV.
But I can only
Your house to TV ratio is totally screwed up.
I can only be in one house at a time. Look, every year a couple of teams they take a big leap. So every year we predict who the next teams are going to be to take a big leap. This year, a lot of people looked at Tampa Bay and Tennessee. And now maybe they have to look at Philadelphia. And what all 3 of those teams,
big leap.
Do you know what those 3 teams have in common? They got good young quarterbacks.
Yes, they do.
They got good young quarterbacks, all 3 of those. Carson Wentz, with the way he moves and the way he goes downfield and his third down efficiency, as you mentioned, that's a skill set that reminds me of Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
And that is real high.
I'm not making that
real
jump.
High. Real
not
high.
to Rodgers.
Well,
I'm not doing that yet.
You know, I'm not saying he's as good as Rodgers.
Intermediate figure we can figure out.
I guess.
Maybe not.
Mr. Rogers? I don't know.
I'm wondering. I'm watching some of it again with one eye.
How many eyes you got?
Occasionally. Well, you got a man cave. You got the eye in the sky.
How many TVs do you have?
11, 13.
You have 2 eyes. How do you do that?
You can hit rewind. You can do a lot of stuff.
Do you know the Eagles could be 8-1 very easily?
Don't stop.
Do you know that their next 3 games are at home?
They're not going to beat all these division opponents.
49ers, and Broncos at home.
I bet you right now they lose to the Redskins.
Oh, no.
I bet you right now they lose to the Redskins.
On Monday night?
Yeah.
At Philly?
Yes.
I'll take the bet.
Loss.
Let's take a break. Still to come. Could one of the college unbeatens go down tonight? We're going to ask Booger McFarland.
See how nice I'm being in Washington, picking the Redskins in that game? Feel sorry. Kind of. No, I don't. We'll also ask him whether he sees Coach O beating Auburn and keeping his job at LSU for, I don't know, a week or 2.
Got the Aaron Judge stat from Ryan Spader, who may or may not be related to
You notice I'm taking the high road today. You notice?
You notice I'm wearing my corduroy suit?
You've gotten into fall clothing. What's the deal?
Already.
You're done with the summer.
We've got 2 unbeaten college football teams in action tonight, which makes it a great time to bring in ABC college football analyst Booger McFarland. Let's start with this. Number 2, Clemson is at Syracuse tonight. Who do you think ultimately and legitimately stands between Clemson and the title game? Could it be Syracuse?
Well, Tony, no, I don't think it's going to be Syracuse. Syracuse is a good football team. Dino Babers has improved their program. But I think Clemson is the best football team in the country. That's even over Alabama, over Georgia. I think what Dabo Swinney is doing up there at Clemson, South Carolina, is unreal. They're not rebuilding. They're just reloading. Deshaun Watson goes to the NFL, and Kelly Bryant comes in, and they really don't miss a beat. So I love their defense. Their defensive line is amazing. So, Tony, I think Clemson will scathe over Syracuse tonight, and I think they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, we don't need to waste any time on Syracuse, Tony. I want to get to LSU.
I just read what is written for me.
I'm not doing it. LSU is hosting number 10 Auburn. I really like Auburn and think that they could be a stumbling block at the end of the season. I also think they could take down Alabama. Booger, is that crazy? What do you think?
No, you know what, Mike? I don't think that's crazy. I think when you look at Auburn early on in the season, we thought Auburn was going to be a high-flying football team, but Jared Stidham, the quarterback, just didn't develop. They tried to run him like Cam Newton, run him like Nick Marshall. Then all of a sudden they said, you know what, guys, wait a minute. Maybe this guy's not a runner. Maybe he's a thrower, so let's allow him to throw the football. And when they did that, the offense took off. The defense has been amazing. They're only giving up about 15 points a game. So when you look at their complementary football, the way they run the football, the way Jared Stidham is progressing, Auburn is a very, very formidable foe for anyone, not just Alabama, but anybody in the country.
And you can talk about Auburn from now till, it gets light at 3 a.m. in the middle of the summer. But we're going to talk about LSU because you went to LSU. You played at LSU. They beat Florida last week, but they lost to Troy. How much patience should that school have with Coach O?
Well, first of all, Tony, I can't believe you're bringing up old stuff. We've already buried that and moved on, number one. Well, here's the thing about it. They're going to have some patience with Coach O because of a couple of reasons. Number one, he's got a young football team. And I think anytime you're playing a lot of freshmen, a lot of young guys, they're going to be growing pains, and you're going to have to deal with those. And I think number two, when you look at the talent level that's there in Baton Rouge, we're all used to Baton Rouge and LSU being able to say, you know what, they just kind of plug them in, 4-star, 5-star after 5-star. Well, that's not the case down there in Baton Rouge right now. So they got to have patience with Coach O. But Tony, I agree with you. You can't lose to Troy anytime, anywhere, any place.
Let's move to Jim Harbaugh. Do you see him staying in Michigan? I've been lobbying for him to go to that next level, as they say. But forget about that. What do you think Jim Harbaugh's immediate future is?
I think it's going to be at Michigan. If you think about the Michigan Wolverines, Mike, let's go back to before Jim Harbaugh got there. I mean, they were pretty much irrelevant. Now Jim Harbaugh comes in, and they are the same ilk as a Clemson, as an Alabama. They don't rebuild, they just reload, and you have to give Jim Harbaugh a lot of credit. And I think around the country this week, he's getting a lot of unfair criticism because of the quarterback play, because of the offensive play. Jim Harbaugh is a top 5 football coach in America, period. If you don't think that, that's a you problem, not a Jim Harbaugh problem. So I think he's going to be at Michigan a long, long time. I know there are the rumors about Chicago and Indy where he played at. Mike, I understand that's a selfish question, Mike.
Yes,
but I do think he's going to be at Michigan for a long time.
So great, because you broke his heart. This makes me so happy, because you don't have him going to the Bears. We'll get you out of here on this. Washington State and head coach Mike Leach is 6-0. They have Cal tonight. How seriously are you taking the Cougars?
Well, I think we're going to see what they're made of throughout the season. They got a couple of big games coming up, but their biggest game is going to be the Apple Cup against the Washington Huskies. And I think when you look at the college football playoff scenario, guys, I think the 3 conferences that are in pretty good shape are the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten. I think the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are kind of battling against each other for the last spot, which brings us to Washington State. They got a high-flying offense. Everyone loves Mike Leach, especially around Woodstock when everybody's running around naked, as he said. It's a great time to be a Washington State Cougar. I just don't know if we're going to find out anything about them until later on in the season.
Thank you so much, Booger.
Thank
this
you
was fun
much.
for us.
Appreciate it.
Anytime. Hey, Mike, Dodgers in 6, baby.
No. We got to get a bet
again and
we
again.
We got to get a bet on this one.
ABC college football coverage begins tomorrow at noon Eastern. Let's take one last break. Still to come. Is Jerry Jones right that the NFL has not treated Ezekiel Elliott fairly?
And is Bruce Arena doing the right thing by resigning from the USAC?
I thought Booger was your boy. He just killed you on the Bears. He just killed you on the Cubs.
Look, his answer about Harbaugh was a professional answer. I understand that. I just want something else. But the Cubs are taking down the Dodgers.
Happy time, people. Happy 55th birthday, Jerry Rice. Everybody knows Rice is the greatest wide receiver of all time.
The best.
What you might not know is that apparently he is a wedding crasher. And what newlywed couple wouldn't want a photo with Jerry Rice? We also see from this video that he thinks he can play in the NFL right now. And by the way, so does the guy he's with.
You see, I hear these arguments about other people now. Their names pop up, all these wide receivers. They're great. They're not Jerry Rice. Shut up, people.
No. Happy anniversary, Derek Jeter. On this day 16 years ago, your backhanded flip nailed Oakland's Jeremy Giambi at the plate to save a playoff win for the Yankees. This is the signature Derek Jeter moment. It's not a home run or anything else at the plate. It's the hustle. It's the things that made him the captain, and we wonder if he can do that in Miami in a front office coat and tie.
Well, there are greats, Tony, who have been great at both in the front office as well. Jerry West, Danny Ainge, Mario Lemieux, Stevie Yzerman. There are a few come to mind.
Too much hand sanitizer.
Jeter can do it.
Happy trails, Bruce Arena. Arena, who took over our national soccer team from Jurgen Klinsmann on an emergency basis, stepped away today. His contract was up at the World Cup, and since we're not going to the World Cup, his contract is up now. By resigning, he probably did the right thing for the future of the team.
Well, Tony, also, if you're a team, a professional team anywhere in the world, or a university with a big deal soccer program, how quickly would you move heaven and earth to get Bruce Arena to coach your team? Because you're going to win.
Sure. No errors today. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Jerry Jones says Ezekiel Elliott has not been treated in a fair way by the NFL. Do you agree with that?
Like everything else Jerry has said this week, absolutely not. UNC avoided North Carolina, avoided major sanctions in that academic fraud scandal. Your thoughts?
I paid attention to this for 7 years. Nothing happened. A waste of my life. Case Keenum will start for the Vikings against the Packers. You think we'll see Sam Bradford anytime soon?
The Vikings have real aspirations. You probably need to see him soon. Need to, but I don't think so. San Antonio Stars of the WNBA have filed to move to Las Vegas. You okay with that?
You know, I didn't see as much of them in San Antonio as I planned on.
You don't like to get
so
there.
I think I'll probably see a little bit more of them in Vegas than I saw in San Antonio.
Alrighty.
Last one, Aisha Curry told The Real that Steph Curry loves feet. I didn't know that, did you?
Yeah. Don't touch my phone. Steph, I won't let Tony open the phone. No.
Rex Ryan loves feet. We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
That's how we're ending this show, really? Have a great weekend, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
Fred Price, shout out.
Want to tell me who?
It's a Dolls deal.
Who?
PTI. All right, ahead on this Feel Good Friday edition of the